What are you looking for? Like, what's kind of?
Well, I mean, we may have told you, we are more of a sort of repositioning developer through renovation, right? So I'm just trying to think who would be using it. So our probably potential targets are IT companies or startup R&Ds, life science R&Ds.
Do you want to see the building across the street I've got for sale?
They are on the corner, right? Yeah.
I have keys.
Yeah. No, I mean, I heard. What about the contamination?
We did an environmental assessment.
Yeah.
They did a stage 2. Mm-hmm. In the new section of the building, they had one hotspot, mm-hmm. and it was metals that were shallow. Yeah. And they figured there was 2 old houses there, so they figured they're not going anywhere. The cost I haven't looked at it for a while, but the cost to remediate was not that high. Like it was under $100,000, and most of those costs are MOE. So it wasn't
MOE,
Ministry of Environment,
okay,
permitting and
processing.
But it's shallow. No, it's not.
But isn't that
Next Environmental did the report, and then it was reviewed by Keystone.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, we use Keystone as well. I mean, how about the structure?
It's old. It's an old building. It's a project, it's definitely a project. We've had it under contract with a developer who's going to knock it down. Yeah. I also had it under contract with a user who was going to utilize the building and renovate it. A well-known user. They got delayed with the city and they had kind of a conditional use they wanted to put in. They got it approved. And then ultimately the city said they wanted more parking to be added, but that was the challenge based on that use. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to see it, I'm happy to. It's not a, there is certainly some contamination, but it's not the letters from the environmental consultant. They didn't seem to think it was that big of a deal.
So it's
easy for me to say.
So the contamination isn't running off to anywhere?
It's metals. They did a stage 2. Yeah. They drilled a number of holes. They found one hotspot. Then they did a detailed site investigation, delineating where it was, and they identified where it was, and it was metals. And the consultant, I recall, said they figure there's 2 houses that were removed, so they're vacant while they're waiting, I guess, for permits from the city. The environmental consultant said we bet you that people, there's scrap metal recycling.
Sure.
People were storing stuff on there, so they figured it may have been related to that.
Okay. Interesting. Well, if you have a few minutes after.
Yeah, no, I can do it now. I've got one more meeting after this. Let me just double check the time. I've got time.
Like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got time. If you want to go.
向こう見に行きましょうね。
No, go ahead. I'll walk up here.
All right, thanks.
Sometimes they're there, sometimes not. So we can just walk in here.
All right. So what do you at the end of the property line?
Property line runs there.
To this point. Okay.
And then it jogs. So see where those 3 loading doors are?
Yep.
That's part of this property.
Oh.
And then the high ceiling section is part of this property. So
it's like
I think obviously many years ago, well before this owner, they probably sold off this last little piece to this guy.
Yeah.
So, but there's a jog, so it's kind of an L shape. Hi there. I've got the building for sale with the neighbors. Thanks.
Hello.
So it was built in 3 stages. Yep. So the earliest stage is the corner, which is kind of wood frame. Okay. And then we're kind of in the second stage here, which is kind of a single-story low-rise. Right. So we'll start here, we'll come back. And then that was the addition that was added on this high ceiling. I can show you that.
Yeah, okay.
That's kind of the... So this was the foundation. So I'll show you where they had they found the hotspot.
You know, you see this picture?
Of course.
Can you see the line?
No. So once you get here,
Oh, okay.
and then you can see they drilled there, they drilled there, drilled there, there. So that was another one here. So that was just to delineate the extent of it.
And it's all brick.
Block. Yeah, this section is all block.
Block. It's not reinforced or anything like that.
I don't believe so.
When was it built?
80s.
80s.
Yeah.
Oh, 80s.
Yeah, no, not that one. I'll email this to you. I'll email to Dan.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. So we had a lot of people look at this. Most people don't want to go to the city and do a redo. They don't have the skills and they don't have the experience to do it. But I had one group looking at it. Their concept was actually they're looking to remove the front corner building. That would provide parking and loading to service this area. Because the loading now comes through where we came through here. So they were automotive related. So they would be able to use this for their servicing and all that. What's that? Nope. Nope. And yeah, they would have parking and all that front. So there's been a few different ideas.
So the structural is on the exterior wall only, or are these also structural?
Well, there's definitely some structural in there. You can see, because that's the original building that this was added onto.
Okay.
So I've got old drawings. They're not very detailed, but I've got some I can send to you. So we can kind of walk through.
I wonder what's behind the wood pile. 足気をつけて。You may have
There'll be columns. Yeah, there'll be columns and supports along here, obviously. And that's an old access point off park. We never really used it. This was a little machine shop we had in here. So that's park.
Right.
And that's AC looking out that window.
Yeah. What's the roof like?
Shop. It needs to be replaced. The owner doesn't want to do it because we don't know if someone's going to tear the building down or use the building. So where it leaks, I haven't seen leaks in here, but in the new section, I'll show you.
Okay.
I think they patched it, but the roof needs to be done. But we had a very see this here? That's what this is all about. We had a huge room here, so they've obviously patched it, but no, the roof needs to be replaced, is what I've been told.
Yeah. Well, probably the roof and
We can go actually go up here.
Yeah.
So this is the mezzanine area.
How big is
The
the building?
lot is 14,650.
Okay.
The building is 15 and a half range.
Yeah. No, I mean, the location was good.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, it might be cute because it's on the corner, the access was in
So there have been a number of films that have used it for shoots.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So the foundry stored all their old patterns up here. All these shelves were the molds that they would use and patterns they would use.
Who was using this initially?
It's a foundry, Hastings
Foundry.
Brass, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The business was actually sold
Yeah.
to an existing foundry in the valley.
Yeah.
So they purchased a lot of the assets and moved out to their facility. So there's one last little section we can look at.
We have is there one main panel or is it divided into three or
There's an
four?
electrical room.
Yeah.
I've never been in the room because I don't know the key to it.
Yeah.
But I would expect it's one occupant, so I would assume they've got 1 meter.
You never know.
You never know. You're correct.
I've got by process point of view.
Oh yeah, a bunch there.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
Electrical room is right
Since it's been sitting on the market for about 4 years or so. Yeah, 面白いと思う。こういうのこそうちのプロジェクトだと思うんだよね。絶対。だから3フェーズでやられてるって言われてて、このウッドのその木のところが第一で、ここの、このブロックのところが第二で、その、木造の裏が第3フェーズだっていうけど、第2と第3はこのまま使えるし、問題はこの第1をどこまでどうするかだよね。多分ほとんどのお金はここの第1にかかるだろうし、第2、第3でも多分窓を開けたりすることで、昔の704の時みたいに耐震性を強度しろっていうことで、このブロックの中をコンクリートを入れて、それで鉄筋を入れたりとか、その辺がかかってくるだろう。ブロックということで耐震性はそんなにコストかかんないかもしれないんだけど、問題はこの木造だね。まあ土壌汚染があって、それが1000万以内で終わるってもその環境庁の方から言われてるんであれば、まあそんなものは計算に織り込むのは全然簡単なことだし、問題はこれが構造的にどれだけ使えるか、この木造の部分が。そうすれば多分外壁も張り直しと、あと床にコンクリートを多分5センチぐらい流し込んできれいにしてやることかな。今バンクーバーでは木材がやっぱりすごい高くなってるから、そこの価格と、あとコンクリートが高くなってるっていうその価格がどれだけ上がってくるかでしょうね。多分場所は良すぎるんだと思う。コーナー角なんで、これなんかやると多分市の方から駐車場どうするんだってことを言われると思うから、多分あれだけじゃ足りないと思う。ということはここを少し削って前に駐車場を作ってっていうことになると、今これが確か$460スクエアフットで売ってるのかな。これが例えば$400ぐらいまで落とせて800ぐらい、800ちょっとで売れるものであれば$400のスペース、これ2と3のスペースを含めても250から$300ぐらいのスペースが余裕があれば相当いろいろなことできるだろうし、ちょっといろいろ見てみないとですね。はい、皆さん、このパート2の内覧の方だったんですけれども、 正直今回これは全然見る気もなく、うちの仲介にも前、問い合わせてみたんですけれども、土壌汚染があまりにもひどいということで、見ることもやめていたんです。ただ今日たまたま最初の方の物件内覧をしたところのブローカーがこちらの物件も売りに出していたので見せてもらったんですけれども、土壌汚染も限られていてそのコストももうすでに出ているということなので、それはそれで一つの目安になるんじゃないかなと思います。そしてこの物件のこの状況、3つのフェーズから作られたものらしいんですけれども、この第2と第3の物件部分に対してはこういうブロックでできてますので、それは問題ないと思います。一番の問題はこの、木造の第1フェーズ、これがどこまで使えるものなのかを判断することができます。でも先ほど映像を見ていただいて分かるように、やはりこういうところの正直言ってひどい物件を変えて宝石に変えるというのが改築業の面白いところなんですよ。やっぱりこういうところすごく面白いと思うんですよね。ただ物件もでかいし、正直言って我々としてはここの木造の部分を全部解体して、それでそこから新しいものを作らないといけないんじゃないかなと思ってしまうぐらいなんです。そうするとじゃあやっぱり半新築みたいなものになりますので、プロジェクト的に半開発プロジェクトになりますので、その辺で期間および、投資リターンおよびいくらの投資家さんからの支援を募集しなきゃいけないのかっていうところがポイントになってくるところだと思います。またお話しさせていただきたいと思います。ありがとうございました。